There is a peculiar game that we humans love to play. It's a very serious, very solemn game, and we've given it many grand titles. The search for meaning, the path to enlightenment, the quest for self-realization. We are the heroic adventurers on this quest, and we believe our happiness, our very salvation, depends on finding a hidden treasure. We collect maps from ancient scriptures, we follow guides in the form of gurus and teachers, and we train ourselves with rigorous techniques, all in the desperate hope of one day, finally, arriving at our destination. But what if I were to tell you that this entire grand adventure is based on a colossal misunderstanding? What if the treasure you are so desperately searching for is not lost in some distant land, but is, in fact, the very ground you're standing on? What if the light you're trying to find is the very light with which you see? This is the great cosmic joke, the central secret that, once understood, brings the entire frantic search to a sudden, laughing halt. The truth you have been avoiding, the truth that is so simple it feels like a trick, is this: your search is already over. It was over before it began, because the thing you are looking for is the one who is looking. This is not a clever riddle. It is the most practical, liberating truth a person can ever realize. And when you see it, not just as an idea but as a direct experience, the terrible seriousness of your life dissolves into a kind of play. You don't arrive somewhere new. You simply recognize for the first time where you have always been. Let's start with the fundamental flaw in the whole enterprise, the very act of seeking. The moment you begin to search for something, call it peace, God, enlightenment, you create a division in your world. You create a me who is here, lacking and incomplete, and an it which is over there, the prize to be won. And so you begin to run. You run from your present self towards a future, idealized self. But do you see the trap? The faster you run, the more you confirm the belief that you are not already there. The very effort you expend digging for treasure convinces you, at the deepest level, that you are impoverished. The seeking creates the lack. It is, as the Zen masters say, like a man riding an ox, searching for his ox. It's a comical sight if only he could see it. He's already got the very thing he's looking for, but his mind is so fixed on the idea of the search, on the story of the search, that he cannot see the simple reality under him. We are all that man. We are sitting on the very reality we crave, yet our minds are galloping across imaginary landscapes looking for it. What you are is already whole, already complete, already at peace. It is not something you need to achieve, but we have been taught to distrust this simplicity. We expect fireworks and angel choirs. We expect enlightenment to be a thunderous, world-shattering event, when in fact it is as quiet and as ordinary as the feeling of your own breath, as the sound of rain on the window. It is this very moment, exactly as it is. This brings us to the wonderful paradox of spiritual effort. We are told to strive, to practice, to discipline ourselves. We must meditate for hours, contort our bodies into strange postures, and wrestle our minds into submission. And the harder we work, the more spiritual we feel we are becoming. But this is like trying to make turbulent water smooth by slapping it with the flat of your hand. The more you slap, the more waves you create. The more you try to force your mind to be still, the more agitated it becomes. Why? Because the trying itself is the agitation. The effort to get rid of your ego is the very pinnacle of ego's game. The ego loves a good, heroic project. And what project is more heroic than its own transformation or destruction? This is why a Zen master told his disciple, who asked how long enlightenment would take if he practiced with all his might, 30 years. The harder you try to grasp it, the further away it slips. We have this notion of spiritual attainment as an upward climb, a struggle against a kind of spiritual gravity. But the real secret is that the process is the exact opposite. It's not about achieving a higher state. It's about relaxing into the ground of your own being, which has been here all along. The work is not in the striving, but in the letting go of striving. It's in the recognition that you don't need to add anything to yourself. The real task is to see what happens when you stop. Stop trying to improve yourself. Stop trying to fix yourself. Stop trying to find yourself. What is left when all that effort ceases? Underpinning this frantic search is our bizarre relationship with time. We live as if the present moment is nothing more than a stepping stone to the next. Our lives are a constant preparation for a future that never arrives. We think, when I get that promotion, then I'll be happy. When I finish this spiritual practice, then I'll be at peace. When I finally understand, then I will have arrived. The destination is always later. The prize is always tomorrow. But tomorrow is a concept. It is a ghost. You have never lived in tomorrow, and you never will. You can only ever experience this moment right now. The past is a memory, a trace in the present. The future is an anticipation, a projection in the present. There is only now. The so-called spiritual path is not a line you travel along from unenlightened to enlightened. That's a trick of the mind. Awakening is not a future event. It can only be a present realization. Because the present is the only reality there is. When the great teachers say, the kingdom of heaven is at hand, they don't mean it's coming soon if you're good. They mean it is right here, available to you in this instant, closer than your own breath. The awakening is always sudden because there is no time for it to be gradual. To see this is to be liberated from the tyranny of becoming. You are not on your way to somewhere else. You are here, and the whole point is just to be here. Let's talk about understanding. Our culture worships at the altar of information. We believe that if we can just accumulate enough knowledge, read enough books, and think hard enough, we will crack the cosmic code. We treat spirituality like an academic subject. But true understanding is not the accumulation of concepts. It's the dissolution of them. You can study the chemical composition of water your entire life, but it will never quench your thirst. You can read 1,000 menus, but it will never satisfy your hunger. Reading about the truth is not the truth. The truth is a direct, lived experience. It's not something you know with your head. It's something you are with your whole being. This is why Zen is so wonderfully baffling to the Western mind. A monk asks the master, "What is the nature of reality?" And the master replies, "The cypress tree in the courtyard." The answer makes no logical sense. It's not meant to. It's a jolt, designed to knock the monk out of his conceptual thinking and into the raw, immediate experience of the now. The truth isn't in a book. It's in the texture of the tree bark, in the feeling of the wind on your skin. It is what is. All teachings, all scriptures, all philosophies are merely fingers pointing at the moon. The problem is, we get so fascinated by the finger that we forget to look at the moon. The point of a raft is to get you across the river. Once you're on the other shore, you don't strap the raft to your back and carry it around. You leave it behind. How many of us are still carrying rafts? I like to think of this whole business as a divine game of hide-and-seek. In the beginning, there is only the one singular, universal consciousness. Let's call it God. And this God is everything. But being everything all at once is a bit of a bore. There's no surprise, no drama, no adventure. So God devises a game. It decides to pretend it isn't itself. It shatters itself into countless pieces, into you and me, and every star, every atom, every blade of grass. And each piece is endowed with a temporary amnesia. Each piece forgets that it is God and believes itself to be a small, separate, isolated little being. And then the game really begins. These little lost fragments of God start to feel a strange ache, a deep longing for something they can't name, a feeling of being disconnected, and so they begin to search. They search for connection, for meaning, for wholeness. They search for God. But of course they are God pretending to be lost, searching for itself. The seeker is the sought. And the whole point of this magnificent, cosmic drama is the thrill of the final act, the moment of remembering. The moment when God, disguised as you, wakes up from the dream of separation and exclaims, with a great laugh of relief, "Ah, it was me all along." When you see your life through this lens, the weight of it all lifts. Your existential crisis is not a problem to be solved. It's a central feature of the game you chose to play. At the very heart of this game is the illusion of the separate self. We have a powerful, persistent feeling of being a me inside our heads, a little pilot driving a body machine around in a world that is not me. We spend our entire lives polishing, defending, and trying to improve this little pilot. But if you try to find this me, you can't. Where is it? Is it your thoughts? They come and go. Is it your feelings? They change with the weather. Is it your body? It's different from what it was 7 years ago. The self is not a thing, it's a process. It's a verb, not a noun. Think of a whirlpool in a river. It has a distinct form, a recognizable pattern. But you cannot take the whirlpool out of the river. The whirlpool is not a separate entity. It is something the river is doing. In exactly the same way, you are not a separate entity in the universe. You are something the universe is doing. You are a pattern, a wave in the cosmic ocean. The wave rises, has its moment of form, and then subsides back into the ocean from which it was never separate. When you truly see this, that you are the whole process, the seeking ends. Who is there to seek? What is there to find? The whirlpool doesn't need to go searching for the river, so let's abandon the metaphor of life as a journey. A journey is a chore. Its purpose is to get to the end. We treat childhood as a preparation for adulthood. We treat our work life as a preparation for retirement. We are always living for the future, and so we miss the show. I propose a different metaphor. Life is not a journey. It is a musical piece, or a dance. The point of a symphony is not to get to the final chord. If it were, the best conductors would be those who played the fastest. The point of music is to be enjoyed in every moment as it unfolds. The point of a dance is not to arrive at a particular spot on the floor. The point is the dance itself. Life is a dance. It has no destination. It is a performance, a play, an improvisation. And it is in its very pointlessness that its beauty lies. When you stop trying to get somewhere, you find that you are, at last, able to be where you are. And being here fully is the whole point. This is the great awakening of non-seeking. It is not an achievement. It is an undoing. It is not a new state you enter, but a recognition of what has always been true. You stop looking for water, and in that stopping, you realize you have been swimming in the ocean all along. So how do we live from this understanding? It does not mean we become passive blobs who do nothing. It means the quality of our doing changes. We no longer act from a place of desperate lack, trying to fill a hole inside ourselves. We act from a place of fullness, as an expression of the abundance that we are. Our work becomes play. Our relationships become a dance instead of a negotiation. We are free to be fully, vibrantly, and authentically ourselves, because we are no longer trying to become someone else. The search is over. The joke is on you. And the punchline is the most liberating truth in the universe. You are it. You always have been, and you always will be. So stop seeking and start seeing. Stop trying to become and simply be. And in that simple being, you will find everything you were ever looking for.